Take a deep breath and let the weight of the world fall away as you settle into this moment of stillness. You are standing on a tiny, beautiful rock, hurtling through an ocean of darkness so vast that the mind simply refuses to process its scale. Tonight, we leave the familiar lights of home behind to embark on a journey that will shatter every assumption you have ever held about size, distance, and your place in existence itself. We are drifting into the cosmic deep end, exploring a reality where numbers sound like fiction and the impossible becomes the routine. If you find comfort in these gentle explorations of our mysterious universe, I invite you to subscribe to our community of dreamy explorers and like this video. Your support helps the algorithm find others seeking a path to the stars. Imagine the city you are in right now, its streets stretching for miles, the millions of souls within it, feeling so substantial and important. Now watch as we zoom out. Your country becomes a tiny patch of land, and Earth itself shrinks into a fragile blue marble floating in a silent black void. We are moving toward the very edge of everything we know to exist, towards structures so massive they make our entire galaxy look like a single grain of sand. The universe is not just big, it is so incomprehensibly, mind-meltingly enormous that even light, the fastest thing in existence, takes billions of years to cross tiny fractions of it. As we drift further, you will come to understand that what we can see might be nothing compared to what is truly out there. We are part of an endless tapestry, unless perhaps one of infinite versions of reality where every choice ever made exists somewhere in the vast library of possibility. Close your eyes now and let your imagination carry you across these eons of deep time. Feel the calm of the void as we prepare to witness the birth of stars and the heartbeat of the cosmic web. You are not just a passenger on this journey. You are the universe itself becoming self-aware, looking back at the stardust from which you were forged. Chapter 1: Grains of Sand, Our Solar Home. To truly understand the scale of the cosmos, we must first find our bearings within the small pocket of space we call home. Let us begin with the familiar, the solid ground beneath your feet and the air you breathe, which has sustained life for billions of years. From our perspective, the Earth feels immense, an endless expanse of mountains, deep oceans, and sprawling cities that stretch toward the horizon. It is a world that feels substantial, permanent, and central to the story of existence. But as we begin our slow drift upward, passing through the thin veil of our atmosphere and into the quiet dark, that sense of scale begins to dissolve. Imagine, if you will, a vast empty field. In the center of this field sits a basketball, glowing with a fierce, steady light. And this basketball represents our sun, the heart of our solar system. To find the Earth in this model, you would have to walk about 25 yards away. There you would find a single grain of sand. This tiny speck is our entire world. Every mountain you have ever climbed, every ocean you have ever crossed, and every person who has ever lived, all existing on a grain of sand 25 yards away from a basketball. The space between that basketball and that grain of sand is not filled with air or light, but with a profound, chilling vacuum. Even light, moving at a staggering 186,000 miles per second, takes 8 minutes just to cross that small gap. When you look at the sun, you are seeing it as it was 8 minutes ago, a ghost of a star reaching across the void to touch your skin. As we move further out in our model, the distances become even more difficult to grasp. To reach the edge of our solar system, where the sun's influence finally begins to fade into the interstellar dark, you would have to travel 4 miles away from that basketball. 4 miles of almost nothingness, save for a few other grains of sand representing the other planets and a few microscopic specks of dust representing the asteroids. This is our neighborhood, a place where 99.8% of all the mass is concentrated in the sun, leaving only a tiny fraction of matter to form the worlds we know. Jupiter, the heavyweight champion of our system, sits in the middle of this vastness. It is a world so massive that it contains more than twice the mass of all the other planets combined. If the Earth is a grape, Jupiter is a basketball. You could hollow out its massive shell and fit 1,300 Earths inside it, yet it is made of the lightest gases in the universe. It is a failed star, a giant that grew quickly in the early days of the solar system, vacuuming up the hydrogen and helium left over from the sun's birth. In this quiet exploration, we must realize that our solar system is mostly just a hollow theater of shadows. It is an island of light in an ocean of darkness so deep that the nearest star is still 24 trillion miles away. If you were to drive a car at highway speeds toward that nearest star, it would take you 30 million years to arrive, a span of time longer than humanity has walked the Earth. We are living in the stelliferous era, a brief and beautiful window in cosmic history where stars shine and planets can harbor life. But even this era is defined by the spaces between. Our solar system is a delicate arrangement of matter held together by the invisible hand of gravity, dancing around a star that is itself just one of billions. As we drift further, the grain of sand that is Earth disappears entirely, and even the sun begins to shrink, becoming just another point of light in the forest of the Milky Way. We are leaving the comfort of our neighborhood to see where our sun fits into the grander architecture of the galaxy. Chapter 2. The Forest of Stars. As we leave the warmth of our basketball-sized sun behind, we enter a realm where the very concept of distance undergoes a radical transformation. In our previous exploration, we saw the Earth as a mere grain of sand, but now even that speck vanishes into the velvet blackness of the interstellar void. We are moving into the great silence, the vast gaps between the lights that dot our night sky. This is the beginning of the stellar neighborhood, an area of space so cavernous that we must abandon miles and kilometers for a more profound unit of measurement: the light year. A light year is the distance light travels in a single year, a staggering 6 trillion miles. To help your mind rest in this vastness, imagine light as a silent messenger, racing at 186,000 miles every second. Even at this impossible speed, it takes years just to reach our closest neighbors. The nearest star, Proxima Centauri, sits about 4 light years away. To put this in a perspective that fits our human experience, if you were to drive a car at highway speeds directly toward that star, the journey would take you 30 million years. This is longer than the entire history of the human species. Yet as we drift deeper into the forest of stars, we realize that Proxima Centauri is just the front gate. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is a colossal rotating disk of gas, dust, and stars. It is home to somewhere between 200 and 400 billion suns. Most of these stars are far more distant than our immediate neighbor. If you were to send a message across the diameter of our galaxy, it would take 100,000 years for that signal to reach the other side. By the time a reply could return, every civilization we know today might be nothing more than layers of dust in the Earth's crust. In this slow cosmic drift, let your mind wander through the sheer variety of this stellar forest. There are stars here that dwarf our sun, blue giants that burn with a fierce, short-lived intensity, and red dwarfs that will continue to glow for trillions of years, long after our own sun has faded into a white dwarf. There are binary systems where 2 suns dance around one another, casting double shadows on any planets that might orbit them. We used to think that the space between these stars was completely empty, a hollow vacuum of nothingness. But as we look closer with our quiet cosmic eyes, we see that the forest is filled with the raw materials of creation. We find vast nebulae, stellar nurseries where gas and dust collapse under the patient weight of gravity to ignite new suns. These clouds are painted in colors of deep violet, indigo, and soft gold, glowing with the heat of newborn stars. Within these clouds, we also find the failed stars, the brown dwarfs. These are objects too massive to be planets, yet not heavy enough to ignite the nuclear fires of a true star. They drift through the darkness like glowing embers, sometimes surrounded by their own rings of dust and gas where tiny frozen worlds might be trying to form. They remind us that the universe is filled with half-finished stories and quiet, lonely wanderers. As we move toward the center of the Milky Way, the density of the forest increases. Thousands of stars cluster together, their gravitational fields intertwining in a complex rhythmic ballet. At the very heart of this galactic city lies Sagittarius A star, a supermassive black hole with the mass of 4 million suns. It is the anchor of our galaxy, an invisible anchor around which everything we see is spinning. But do not let the scale overwhelm you. Even this massive galaxy, with its hundreds of billions of stars and its central black hole, is not unique. It is just one of many. As we look out from the edge of the Milky Way's spiral arms, we see other lights in the distance. Not individual stars, but entire island universes. Our galaxy is an average-sized member of a much larger cosmic hierarchy. There are galaxies like IC 1101 that are 50 times larger than ours, containing over 100 trillion stars. Imagine a city of light so vast that the Milky Way appears like a small village in comparison. The forest of stars is deep, and it is older than we can truly comprehend. The carbon in your body, the iron in your blood, and the oxygen you breathe were all forged in the hearts of these distant suns billions of years ago. When those stars reached the end of their lives and exploded as supernovae, they scattered these elements across the void, seeding the clouds that would eventually become our Earth. You are a child of this forest, made of the same stardust that now drifts past our windows. Take a moment to feel the connection between your own heartbeat and the slow, rhythmic pulses of the stars. The universe is not a collection of separate objects, but a single unfolding process of matter and energy. Every star you see is a distant cousin, a part of the same grand narrative that began in a flash of light so many eons ago. As we drift further away from the familiar glow of our own galactic home, the individual stars begin to merge into a soft, hazy light. We are leaving the forest now, moving into the intergalactic void to see how these great islands of stars are gathered together. We are about to witness the true architecture of the deep, where galaxies themselves are merely the building blocks of something even more vast. Chapter 3. Islands in the Deep, Superclusters. We are drifting now into the deep intergalactic ocean, leaving behind the safety of the Milky Way's spiral arms. In the previous chapters, we saw how our world was but a grain of sand, and our galaxy a vast forest of stars. But as we move further into the void, even the Milky Way, with its 400 billion suns, shrinks until it is nothing more than a soft, glowing smudge of light against the infinite black. We have entered the realm of the great islands, where galaxies themselves are the individual units of a much larger, more majestic organization. The space between galaxies is far more profound than the space between stars. It is a vacuum so pure and so vast that the light of 100 billion stars can travel through it for millions of years without ever touching a single atom of matter. Yet even in this seemingly lonely expanse, there is a hidden rhythm, a gravitational heartbeat that pulls these island universes together. Galaxies do not wander the cosmos in isolation. They are gathered into families, then into cities, and finally into great continental structures called superclusters. Our own home in this hierarchy is a modest collection of about 80 galaxies known as the local group. This group spans roughly 10 million light-years. At its center are two giants, our Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy, locked in a slow gravitational embrace that will one day merge them into a single, even larger entity. Around these two giants drift smaller satellite galaxies, like the Magellanic Clouds, flickering like moths around a campfire. It feels immense to our human minds. A distance so great that if you were to send a message to the other side of the local group today, the light carrying that information would not arrive for 10 million years. But as we continue to zoom out, moving deeper into the cosmic deep end, we realize that the local group is just a tiny suburb on the edge of a vast metropolitan area. We are part of the Laniakea supercluster. The name Laniakea means immense heaven in Hawaiian, and it is a fitting title for a structure that contains 100,000 galaxies spread across 520 million light-years of space. Try to settle your mind into that scale. In Laniakea, the light leaving one edge today will not reach the other side for over 500 million years. By the time that light arrives, and our own sun may have grown old and the Earth may have been reduced to cosmic dust. In this view, entire galaxies are like tiny droplets of water flowing along invisible gravitational rivers toward a central point of mass known as the Great Attractor. Everything we have ever known, our sun, our planet, our history, is just a single molecule in this colossal flow. Beyond Laniakea, The universe reveals even more massive structures. We see the Coma cluster, a dense city of over 1,000 galaxies, and the Perseus cluster, which holds even more. These clusters are held together not just by the gravity of the stars we can see, but by the invisible grip of dark matter, a mysterious substance that forms the scaffolding of the entire universe. Without this unseen framework, these massive clusters would fly apart, unable to maintain their shape in the expanding void. In this deep, intergalactic journey, we begin to see a pattern emerging. The universe is not a random scattering of light. It is organized, layered, and deeply connected. These superclusters are the largest objects in the cosmos, but they are not the end of the story. They are simply the nodes where the threads of reality meet. As we look across these half-billion light-year gaps, we realize that the islands are not truly alone. They are part of a grander architecture that spans the entirety of the observable universe. We are moving now toward a perspective where the space between superclusters begins to reveal its true nature. We are approaching the limit of what we can see, with a boundary where light and time are intertwined in a way that challenges our very understanding of existence. The sheer bigness of these superclusters serves as a reminder of our own fragility, yet also of our incredible reach. We are tiny beings on a tiny rock, yet we have mapped the boundaries of Laniakea. We have heard the whispers of light from galaxies so distant that they no longer exist in the form we see them. We are witnesses to a scale of beauty that was never meant for human eyes, yet we are here, contemplating it in the quiet of the night. As the glow of the Laniakea supercluster begins to fade into a larger pattern, we see that these continental structures are merely the individual fibers of a vast cosmic tapestry. We are leaving the islands behind to see the grandest design of all, the network that links every galaxy in the dark. We are drifting toward the very threads of the universe itself. Chapter 4: The Infinite Tapestry, the Cosmic Web. We have drifted far beyond the shores of our local supercluster, leaving the glowing heart of Laniakea behind as a fading ember in the dark. In our previous explorations, we viewed galaxies as island universes and superclusters as vast cosmic continents. But now, as we reach a vantage point millions of years in the making, a new and even more profound structure begins to emerge from the shadows. This is the largest arrangement of matter that physics allows us to conceive. It is the skeletal frame of the universe itself, the cosmic web. Imagine a spiderweb stretching across a dark forest, its silk threads invisible until they catch a stray beam of moonlight. In the same way, the universe is not a random scattering of light, but a carefully organized network of filaments that connect everything in existence. These filaments are composed of vast streams of dark matter and galaxies, stretching across hundreds of millions of light years. They are the highways of the cosmos, along which matter flows like slow, rhythmic traffic toward the dense intersections we call superclusters. As we hover in the silent intergalactic void, look closely at the architecture before you. The cosmic web is a structure of contrasts. It is defined not just by the light of the galaxies, but by the staggering emptiness of the gaps in between. These gaps are known as cosmic voids, regions of space so incredibly empty that they contain almost no matter, no stars, and no light. They are the great silent cathedrals of the universe, some spanning hundreds of millions of light years in diameter. In our human scale, these voids are terrifyingly vast, yet in the grand design of the web, they are simply the negative space that allows the filaments to shine. The cosmic web is held together by the invisible hand of dark matter. While we can see the galaxies clustered along these filaments, the stars and gas we observe represent less than 5% of what is actually there. The rest is a hidden scaffolding that provides the gravitational anchor for the entire universe. Without this dark matter web, the galaxies would fly apart, drifting aimlessly into the void. Instead, they are bound together in a magnificent, interconnected lattice that mirrors the most complex systems we know on Earth. It is a haunting coincidence that when we visualize the largest structures in the universe, they look eerily familiar. The pattern of the cosmic web, the vast filaments of matter connected at nodes with enormous voids in between, looks almost identical to the neural networks of a human brain. This similarity is more than just a visual curiosity. It suggests a fundamental principle of organization that repeats across every scale of reality, from the microscopic to the infinite. As you rest here in the quiet dark, contemplate the possibility that the universe is organized like a colossal mind, with galaxies clustered along cosmic neurons that span billions of light years. Every thread in this web represents a journey that has lasted for billions of years. Now, the light we see today from these distant filaments began its journey when the universe was still in its infancy. As the universe expanded, these structures grew and evolved, pulling matter together through the patient and unrelenting force of gravity. We are witnessing the result of a 13-billion-year-old process of self-organization, a slow dance of matter and energy that has transformed a smooth, uniform early universe into the rich, complex tapestry we see today. The cosmic web is not a static structure. It is a living, breathing entity that is still evolving. Even as we watch, the expansion of space is stretching these filaments thinner. Dark energy, the mysterious force that makes up 68% of our universe, is acting like an invisible wedge, pushing the galaxies further apart and slowly tearing at the threads of the web. Eventually, over trillions of years, this acceleration may tear the fabric of reality to shreds, leaving nothing but isolated particles scattered across an infinitely expanding void. But for now, in this brief moment of cosmic time, we inhabit a universe that is perfectly balanced, allowing these magnificent structures to exist for us to observe. There is a deep peace to be found in the realization that everything is connected. No galaxy is truly an island. No star is ever truly alone. We are part of a system so vast that our entire civilization is but a flicker of light on one single thread of an infinite tapestry. The atoms in your body were once part of the gas clouds that collapsed to form the first stars within these very filaments. You are quite literally a part of the web, a conscious node in a cosmic network that is finally waking up to recognize its own beauty. As we drift further, the individual filaments of the cosmic web begin to blur together into a soft, hazy glow. We are moving toward the ultimate boundary of our knowledge, the place where light itself cannot keep pace with the expansion of space. We are leaving the grand architecture of the web to face the greatest mystery of all, the edge of what we can see and the terrifying possibility of what lies beyond. Chapter 5. Beyond the Horizon. The Observable Edge. We are now floating at the very precipice of human understanding, drifting through the silent, cold depths, where the light of the first dawn still whispers through the dark. In our previous journeys, we have traced the filaments of the cosmic web and looked upon the majestic continents of superclusters. But here, the perspective shifts. We are no longer looking at things that occupy space. We are looking at the boundaries of time itself. In this chapter of our journey, we must confront the concept of the observable universe, a sphere of light and history that surrounds us, a bubble of reality within a much larger, perhaps infinite, ocean. Imagine you are standing on a vast, dark plain at night. You hold a lantern that casts a soft circle of light around you. Within that circle, you can see the grass, the stones, and the silhouettes of distant trees. But beyond the reach of that light, there is only a total, impenetrable blackness. Does the world end where your light fades? Of course not. The plain likely continues for miles, filled with mountains and rivers you cannot see. The universe is much the same. The observable universe is the circle of light cast by our cosmic lantern, and its edge is defined not by a physical wall, but by the speed of light and the age of the cosmos. This boundary, this cosmic horizon, is currently estimated to be about 46.5 billion light-years away in every direction. At first, this number seems to defy the very laws of physics we have discussed. If the universe is only 13.8 billion years old, how can we see light from an object that is 46 billion light-years away? The answer lies in the restless nature of space itself. During the billions of years it took for that distant light to travel toward us, the space between us and the source has been expanding, stretching like a rubber band. The object that emitted that light is now much further away than it was when the journey began. We are looking at a snapshot of a past that has been carried away from us by the expansion of the universe. As we rest here at the edge, let your mind wander into the darkness beyond the horizon. What lies on the other side? Some cosmologists believe that the universe is literally infinite. If space goes on forever, the implications are as beautiful as they are unsettling. In an infinite universe, every possible arrangement of atoms must occur somewhere. This means that somewhere in the absolute deep, there could be an infinite number of exact copies of our world and infinite versions of you, living lives identical to yours or perhaps slightly different. In one variation, you chose a different path. In another, you never left the comfort of home. All of it, every lost dream and every realized potential, would exist somewhere in the infinite expanse of space. Even if the universe is not infinite, it is almost certainly much larger than the tiny bubble we are permitted to see. Some estimates suggest the actual universe is at least 250 times larger than the observable portion. It is a thought that humbles even the grandest of human ambitions. We are like ants on a single leaf of a forest that spans an entire continent, unaware of the vast landscapes that lie just out of sight. There may be entire galactic empires rising and falling, weak civilizations that have existed for trillions of years, and cosmic structures so large they dwarf our superclusters, all hidden forever beyond our cosmic horizon. The most poignant part of this journey is the realization that our horizon is actually shrinking. Because the expansion of the universe is accelerating, driven by the mysterious push of dark energy, distant galaxies are being carried away from us faster and faster. Eventually, they will cross the horizon and disappear from our view forever, like ships sailing over the edge of a waterfall. 1 billion years from now, the night sky will be much lonelier. Future astronomers living on our Earth would see only the galaxies in our local group, and they might conclude that they are alone in a dark and empty void, unaware of the vast cosmic web we can see today. And we are living in a privileged moment, a brief window in time when the universe is still close enough for us to see its history. We can look back to the very first light, the afterglow of creation itself, and see the seeds of the structure that would become us. But this light is a fading echo. As we drift here in the quiet, we must accept that we are observers of a passing parade, witnesses to a majestic display that will eventually fade into a total and permanent darkness. Yet do not let the coldness of the deep void disturb your rest. The fact that there is an observable universe at all is a miracle of consciousness. Out of the countless atoms swirling in the dark, some have come together in just the right way to create you, a being capable of standing at the edge of the infinite and asking, how big? You are the universe's way of looking in a mirror. The light from the edge of the cosmos has traveled for billions of years just to be captured by your eyes, to be processed by your mind, and to become a part of your story. As we prepare to turn our gaze away from the physical boundaries of light and space, we move into a realm where the unseen becomes the most important part of the story. The stars and galaxies we have seen are only a tiny fraction of what truly exists. In the shadows of the cosmic web, there are forces at work that we cannot see, substances that do not reflect light, and energies that hold the key to the ultimate fate of everything. We are drifting now toward the hidden 95%, into the mysterious heart of dark matter and dark energy. Chapter 6, The Hidden 95%, Dark Matter and Energy. We have traveled across the vast illuminated threads of the cosmic web and peered over the edge of the observable horizon, but now we must face a humbling truth. Everything we have seen so far, the brilliant suns, the swirling nebulae, the majestic spiral galaxies, and even the distant ancient light of the first stars, represents less than 5% of the universe. We are like explorers who have spent their lives studying the white foam on the surface of a deep midnight ocean, never realizing the immense dark currents that move beneath the waves. The matter that makes up your body, the planet beneath your feet, and the stars in the sky is merely a light dusting of snow upon a much larger, invisible mountain. As we drift further into the quiet of the cosmic deep, we must confront the hidden masters of the universe, dark matter and dark energy. They are the ghosts of the cosmos, substances and forces that do not emit, reflect, or absorb light, yet they dictate the birth, life, and ultimate death of every structure in existence. They are the reason the stars stay in their orbits and the reason the space between them is growing ever wider. Let us first consider dark matter, the silent guardian that makes up roughly 27% of the cosmos. We cannot see it and we cannot touch it, yet we know it is there because we see its heavy hand at work. When astronomers measure the speed at which galaxies rotate, they find something impossible. Based on the visible stars and gas, these galaxies should be flying apart, their stars scattered into the void like water droplets from a spinning wheel. But they remain held together, bound by the gravity of an invisible substance that outweighs regular matter by 5 to 1. Dark matter is the scaffolding upon which the universe is built. It formed the first clumps of gravity in the early universe, drawing in the hydrogen and helium gas that would eventually ignite to become the first stars. Without dark matter, the cosmic web would never have formed. There would be no filaments, no superclusters, and no home for galaxies like our own Milky Way. It is an invisible net that holds the architecture of reality in place, a presence so fundamental that we are like ants trying to understand the internet. We see the effects, but the nature of the thing itself remains hidden from our view. But as mysterious as dark matter is, it is dwarfed by the remaining 68% of the universe, dark energy. If dark matter is the glue that holds things together, dark energy is the force that is pulling them apart. It is a property of space itself, an energy that exists even in the purest vacuum. For most of cosmic history, scientists believed that the expansion of the universe would eventually slow down as gravity pulled on matter. But a few decades ago, we discovered the opposite. The universe is not slowing down, it is accelerating, its expansion growing faster and more violent with every passing second. Dark energy is the ultimate mystery. We do not know what it is or where it comes from, yet it is the dominant force in our reality. It is pushing the galaxies away from us at such incredible speeds that one day, as we discussed at the edge of the horizon, the light from distant worlds will never be able to reach us again. It is the architect of the Big Rip, a possible future where the acceleration of space becomes so intense that it tears apart galaxy clusters, then individual stars, then planets, and finally the very atoms that compose your being. As you rest here in the soft, dark silence, contemplate the irony of our existence. We are 5% of the story trying to understand the other 95%. We are the exception to the rule. Most of the universe is cold, dark, and utterly alien to our senses. Yet these invisible forces are not our enemies. Dark matter gave us a place to be, providing the gravitational cradle in which our galaxy was born. Dark energy, in its current strength, allowed the universe to expand just enough to prevent a premature collapse, giving complexity a chance to emerge. We are living in a universe that is far more mysterious than we ever dared to imagine. It is a cosmos where the fundamental nature of reality is written in a language we have only just begun to decode. Some theorists even suggest that our universe is a hologram, a projection of information stored on a distant boundary, or a simulation running on a computer of unimaginable power. Others propose that we are merely one bubble in an endless multiverse, where different laws of physics apply in every corner of the infinite foam. But even within these grand mysteries, there is a profound sense of peace. You are connected to these hidden forces in ways you cannot see. The dark matter that anchors our galaxy is the reason the sun stays in its path, providing the steady light that allows you to dream. The dark energy that expands the cosmos is the very reason there is a future to look forward to. You are a passenger on a journey through a vast, invisible landscape, held by shadows and pushed by ghosts. In this quiet exploration of the unseen, we begin to realize that our insignificance is not a burden, but a liberation. We do not have to be the center of the universe to be a part of it. We are the rare, glowing embers in a vast, dark hearth. As we move from the hidden forces of the present into the deep memory of the past, we prepare to witness how it all began. We are drifting now toward the ultimate starting point, the moment when everything, visible and invisible, exploded from a single infinitesimal point. Chapter 7, From a Speck to the Stars. Inflation. We are now drifting back through the corridors of time, moving past the ghosts of dark matter and the silent push of dark energy to arrive at the very threshold of existence. In our previous explorations, we have seen the universe as it is today, a vast, structured tapestry of galaxies and filaments stretching across billions of light years. But to truly grasp the scale of this majesty, we must contemplate its humble, impossible beginning. Every star you have seen, every supercluster we have mapped, and every atom that composes your body was once compressed into a region smaller than a single proton. Take a moment to breathe into that thought. The entire cosmos, with all its potential for life and wonder, was once a seed of infinite density, was tucked away in the first fraction of a second after the Big Bang. This is the story of cosmic inflation, a period of growth so extreme that it makes every other example of expansion in our world look like it is standing still. In the first tiny fraction of a second, the universe did not just grow. It exploded outward at a rate that defies human comprehension, expanding faster than the speed of light itself. This was not a slow, steady unfolding, but a violent, transformative leap from the subatomic to the cosmic in less time than it takes light to cross an atom. It is the fastest growing event in history, a moment where the very fabric of space-time was stretched so thin and so far that it laid the foundation for everything we observe today. During this period of inflation, the universe was growing so quickly that different regions of space were pushed away from each other faster than information could travel between them. They became separate universes, bubbles of reality that could never communicate or influence one another. They were born from the same source, yet they were instantly isolated, becoming causally disconnected in a way that suggests our observable universe might be just one tiny patch in a much larger, multi-layered reality. It is as if the universe in its infancy was trying to explore every possible version of itself all at once. As we rest in this deep, theoretical past, imagine the energy of that expansion. This was an era of such heat and density that matter as we know it could not exist. There were no atoms, no light, only a roiling soup of pure potential. But as inflation slowed, and the energy of the vacuum was released, filling the newly stretched space with the particles that would eventually become the first stars and galaxies. The tiny quantum fluctuations, small random ripples in the early universe, were stretched by inflation until they became the seeds of the cosmic web. These ripples, once smaller than an atom, grew into the vast filaments of dark matter that now guide the growth of galaxies across the deep. It is a beautiful and humbling realization that the grandest structures in the universe owe their existence to the smallest ripples in the subatomic world. We are the children of that expansion. The energy that drove inflation is the same energy that now powers the stars and flows through your veins. Everything you see is a manifestation of that first great breath of the cosmos. Without that sudden, explosive growth, the universe might have collapsed back in on itself, or remained a cold, uniform expanse without the complexity required for life to emerge. But inflation did more than just create space. It created a horizon. Because the universe expanded so rapidly, most of it is forever out of our reach. No matter how advanced our technology becomes, or how long we wait, the light from those distant, disconnected regions will never reach us. We exist in a bubble of visibility, a cosmic horizon that defines the limits of our knowledge. Beyond that edge, there could be anything. Trillions of other galaxies, alien civilizations, or laws of physics so strange they would seem like magic to our minds. As we contemplate this explosive beginning, we find a sense of peace in the order that emerged from the chaos. From a point smaller than a proton, the universe organized itself into the rhythmic dance of planets and the majestic spiral of galaxies. This journey from a speck to the stars is not just a scientific fact, it is a testament to the creative power inherent in the laws of nature. We are the witnesses to this legacy, the small, conscious observers who have finally learned to look back and understand the moment of our own creation. As the echoes of inflation begin to fade into the steady, slow expansion of the modern era, we realize that the universe is not a static machine, but a living, evolving story. We have seen how space was stretched and how matter was seated in the dark. Now we must turn our gaze inward to the most remarkable development of all. The moment when this vast, expanding matter began to think, to feel, and to wonder about its own origin. We are drifting now from the birth of space into the birth of awareness, exploring how the universe finally opened its eyes through us. Chapter 8. The Universe. Looking back. Consciousness. We have drifted through the colossal architecture of the deep, from the subatomic seeds of inflation to the grand glowing filaments of the cosmic web. We have stood at the edge of the observable horizon and felt the silent, invisible pull of dark matter and energy. But now our journey takes its most intimate and profound turn. We are no longer looking out at distant galaxies. We are looking inward at the very eyes that see them. This is the contemplation of consciousness, the moment where the universe, after billions of years of silent expansion, finally opened its eyes and began to wonder about itself. Take a moment to settle into the quiet rhythm of your own breathing. Consider the atoms that make up your body right now. The carbon in your lungs, the iron in your blood, and the calcium in your bones were not created on Earth. They were forged in the nuclear furnaces of dying stars and scattered across the void by the violent beauty of supernovae. For eons, these particles drifted through the cold darkness of the interstellar medium, part of a chaotic dance of gas and dust. But eventually, the patient hand of gravity gathered them together, first into a planet, and then into the complex, delicate arrangement of matter that is you. You are not a separate observer looking into the universe from the outside. You are a temporary arrangement of the universe's own atoms, a small piece of the cosmos that has become self-aware. It is a staggering realization that out of all the countless atoms swirling through the cold, empty voids and the burning gas giants, a matter eventually organized itself in such a way that it could look back at its own source and ask why. When you contemplate the vastness of space, you are engaging in the most extraordinary act possible, cosmic matter contemplating its own cosmic context. You are the universe's self-reflection. Some scientists believe this connection might be more than poetic. When we look at the largest structures in existence, the superclusters in the cosmic web, we see a pattern that is eerily familiar. The filaments of galaxies and the voids between them look almost identical to the neural networks of a human brain. This structural similarity suggests that consciousness and cosmic structure might be linked through principles of organization we are only beginning to glimpse. As you drift in this meditative space, consider the possibility that consciousness is not just a byproduct of biology, but a fundamental feature of reality itself, much like gravity or light. In this view, your individual mind is like a single wave in an infinite ocean of cosmic awareness. Every thought you think, every question you ask about the stars, might be the universe thinking about itself through you. If consciousness is fundamental, then the sheer size of the universe takes on a new meaning. It is no longer just a measure of empty space, but a measure of the scope of awareness, a vast landscape of self-reflection stretching across infinity. We live in a unique window of time, the stelliferous era, where the universe is just the right age and size for complexity and intelligence to emerge. If we had appeared earlier, Honora, the cosmos would have been too hot and chaotic for life. If we appear much later, the expansion of space will have carried all distant galaxies beyond our horizon, leaving us in a dark, lonely void. But we are here now at exactly the right moment to see the full majesty of the cosmic web and to understand our place within it. This awareness is the most remarkable thing in existence, a flickering candle of meaning in a vast, silent dark. The journey we have taken tonight has shown us that size and significance are not the same thing. We may be less than specks of dust in the cosmic immensity, temporary fluctuations in an ocean of time. But because we are conscious, we contain the entire universe within our minds. Every time you look up at the night sky and feel that sense of awe, you are fulfilling a cosmic purpose. You are the eyes of the universe, the heart of the cosmos, and the voice of the stars. As we prepare to leave the grand scales of space and time behind, let this sense of connection settle over you like a warm, heavy blanket. The bigness of the universe is not meant to make you feel small, but to show you how much of yourself there is to explore. We have traveled from our backyard to the edge of the infinite, seeing how every piece of the puzzle fits together. Now it is time to return to the quiet of the present moment, carrying the light of the stars back with us into the soft embrace of sleep. As our journey through the incomprehensible reaches of the cosmos draws to a close, let the vastness we have explored settle over you like a soft, heavy quilt. We have traveled from the familiar warmth of our backyard to the very edge of the observable horizon, witnessing the birth of space-time and the intricate weaving of the cosmic web. You have seen that while we may be small, we are never truly separate. The stardust that once drifted through the lonely intergalactic void now flows through your veins, and the same gravity that anchors the stars is what keeps you grounded in this moment of rest. The universe is vast, cold, and ancient, but it is also your home. The great mysteries we have contemplated, the invisible scaffolding of dark matter, the relentless push of dark energy, and the explosive growth of inflation are simply the rhythms of a reality that you are a part of. You are a conscious participant in this grand unfolding story, a small point of awareness where the universe finally stops to look back at itself. As you prepare to drift into the deep, quiet dark of sleep, let the numbers and distances fade away. You do not need to hold the weight of the galaxies in your mind tonight. The filaments of the cosmic web will continue to guide the stars, and the expansion of space will continue its slow, silent work while you rest. You are safe within this brief, beautiful window of cosmic time, protected by the atmosphere of our tiny blue marble and the steady pulse of existence. The light from distant suns, traveling for millions of years, is finally reaching its destination. Let your thoughts move like that light, slowly, effortlessly, across the silent eons. There is a profound peace in the realization that you are made of the same materials as the stars and governed by the same elegant laws. The universe is thinking through you, dreaming through you, and resting through you. The colors of the deep, the soft indigos, the violets, and the faint golds of distant nebulae begin to blur and fade into a gentle, velvet blackness. The cosmic hum of the void is your lullaby tonight, a steady, low frequency that connects you to the heartbeat of the stars. Breathe in the stillness of the vacuum. Breathe out the busyness of the world. You are a part of the infinite, and the infinite is at peace. Sleep now, as the universe continues its long, slow journey through the dark. The horizon is vast, the stars are bright, and you are exactly where you need to be. Good night, traveler of the deep.